Saturday. Thank you guys so much for tuning in one more time again to watch my video or to hang out in this live stream with me and give me your time to hear what I have to say about this today's topic. Okay, guys? And my live stream has been recently productive. I have received positive feedback and negative ones, which is okay. I'm the type of person who's open to constructive criticism. When there is something that I say that does not align with, you know, a public opinion, you feel free to let me know in the comment section in the most respectful way. No matter what I say, people will still gonna come at me in a certain way, but that's okay too. Well, I got a thick skin so I can take it, you know what I'm saying? But those that have morals, right? They know that, okay, I don't agree with what he had, but I don't agree with what he's saying, but rather than remaining silent, I would like to, provide my input. Maybe it'll help somebody out there to see things in a much more different way, right? So, yeah, I mean that's how we need to how we should be keeping this live stream. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. Do me a favor, hit the like button, and let me know where you're tuning in from, and I will really appreciate it. What do we got here? I just bought land. Oh, there's a Simon Maingi. Amazing, amazing. Congratulations, brother. Congratulations. And when I see things like this, these are the type of news, guys, that I want to hear from you. And this really proving that this platform it's not gonna end here, yo. We're gonna take this far. We are creating this movement. Most like I want more and more young Congolese in the diaspora to buy land, invest, do business, and just go forward, man. I'm all for it. This is the best news so far. Right in the beginning of my live stream, I got a fellow Congolese who's just right here giving me news stating that, you know what I'm saying? He just bought land, and this is what I really, really want to hear. Thank you guys so much, and congratulations to your brother. That's really, really great. And I'm looking forward to you start your investment and do things that you got to do with your land. And I mean, stick around. Please do me a favor, hit the like button, and hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm. And thank you so much. All right, guys. So without wasting any more of your time, I know your time is very precious. Let's jump straight to today's live stream. So the topic right there speaks for itself. In this topic, I am just going to be giving you my own personal opinion. This is not a research-based live stream where I will be giving you scientific experiments or scientific proven research to back up the claim that I'm about to make, but I am here to give you my own personal opinion in regards to what I believe or how what could African do to preserve generational wealth. All right, if that sounds like something you're more interested in, stick around, and please feel free to let me know in the comment section down below if you feel any different than what I am about to tell you right now. Okay, let's jump straight to it. My brother, how you doing? Yeah, I'm doing all right, brother. I'm doing well. How's your weekend going? I know today's Saturday. Everybody's on the way to Wine and Spirit, be a distributor, grabbing something for the weekend. You do what you got to do. We all out here to enjoy our weekends, right? So let's jump straight to it, guys. If you've been following me for a while now, you don't even have to. You probably guess what I'm about to say. You know that one of the best ways to preserve or keep generational wealth is by purchasing land. Purchasing more land. Guys, I am going to take you out of the topic just for a little bit for the purpose of this video, of course, to kind of open your mind a little bit as to see what it means to purchase land and how does it relate to helping you preserve generational wealth. So you know, even during the British Empire, when they conquered the world, they went around the world, they acquired as much land as possible. If you guys have don't know, the reason why the Western world is still the dominant power is because of the during the conquest, they have accumulated massive amounts of lands, whether directly or indirectly. So they've made sure they planted their influence. And that's why you will say in a lot of third world countries where all the resources are, these countries own lands there. Or if they don't own lands, they have certain influence upon these lands. And that's actually enabling the investments that they are making, which, by the way, in returns, it is making the treasury a lot more money. That makes it, you know, the process easier for them to continue to control us. We're talking about India. We're talking about many countries around the world. The most current case is in the Middle East with Palestine, with the war happening between Israel and Hamas against the Palestinians, are about land. So they're fighting over land. Whether we're going to talk about biblical, I don't want to get biblical about this topic, but it is the British Empire who have given them this land, and they believe it's theirs according to biblical writings, right? Writings that they are legitimate owners of this land. That's why they have to kick out Palestinians. So if it wasn't about the land, why do you think Palestine or Israel didn't claim residency over in Germany, the very same country who have persecuted the Jews, who were the most anti-Semite, and who practice the most anti-Semitism against Jewish people, right? So in Germany, it wasn't that many Jews around the world. It was scattered all over, right? But why didn't Germany allow them to create their own land? Or why didn't Europe allow them, like actually give them land to establish themselves in Europe? But they wanted to go somewhere where it makes it it made it pretty much easier for them to conquer and in the process pretty much confiscate the land and send Jews there. So what I'm trying to say is that land is power. Owning land is to some extent acquiring power. And I'll tell you why. My house in which I grew up in and my back home in Congo, where my parents, when they bought this house, it didn't cost anything. How my dad bought the land, because my dad has been a farmer for a very long time. He exchanged wood. So these trees that they cut down, they made different sort of woods and construction materials that they pretty much exchange land with wooden materials. That's how we got the land. And guess how much money that land costs now? And now it's under contract, but its value today is between 300,000 up to like 500K in an area we're owning, right? So what does that tell you? Today, if you buy a land, that's why wealthy people, they will tell you this. If you have money and you want to invest it, but you don't know what to do with your money in terms of investment, why do they always encourage people or advise people to get into real estate? Because nothing can go wrong with real estate. You purchase the land today, over years, the value will only continue to increase. And that is the case. So when you purchase your land today, you invest in your land. As more years go by, your land value will continue to increase. Before you know it, you become a millionaire or a multimillionaire if you have owned multiple properties. That is the thing. So the best way for Africans to preserve generational wealth is by acquiring as much land as possible. What that's going to do is going to guarantee the continuity of your generation in terms of, you know, your family, your tribe, whatever. And on the top of it, it'll make sure that financially your generations are much more stable. Because what's going to happen now is, listen, a lot of Africans, when they move to the West, they become more comfortable. They don't want to go back. That's fine. I know people who have left Africa. They don't want to go back to Africa, but they own lands in Africa, whether either their family members live there or they're renting it out. That's also an option. By buying lands, you don't necessarily have to live there. Look at all these world leaders or all these businessmen, mega millionaires and billionaires. They own lands in multiple part of the world, but do they live in those specific properties that they own there? Probably not. But they are renting it out and continuing to make money off of it, correct? So why can't we do the exact same thing? This is going to bring me to discuss a very important point that some of us don't seem to understand. If you're on YouTube, you watch a lot of YouTube videos, you're probably familiar with movements of a lot of foreigners moving to Africa, whether it is Black Americans or Europeans and many other, or blacks from the Caribbeans, right? Caribbeans. They going to Africa, they're buying lands, they're building because they see the opportunities and the potentials that Africa represent. Unlike Africans themselves, they are so proud to stay here in the West, which is there's nothing wrong with that. But guess how much money a land costs here in America or in the West combined? But you could take the money what you're making here by buying land back in Africa, invest, whether you're building or establish a business or whatever the case may be, that will generate residual income while you're working here and slowly reducing your dependency on working endless amount of hours to make whatever money that you make. Okay? And that could be your way out. Because I am convinced that most of us Africans living in the diaspora, we don't like it as much as we thought we would prior to moving here. After moving here, we see the reality. Now we want to go back. But you can't just go back. You want to make sure you build, you establish yourselves in a manner that you know when I'm there, I am settled and I'm comfortable financially. And I am independent, so I don't have to come back here to America or to Europe for anything rather other than probably just visiting people. But it's not going to be to get another job and make money, right? So if that is how we all feel, why is it that it's taking us so long to pull the trigger? I guarantee you, with the movement of Black Americans moving to Africa to buy land, guess what's happening? What's the term? What's the term, man? It is called, exactly, gentrification. When gentrification is happening, which means locals are unable to afford to purchase properties in those same area, because when people move there, buy properties there, they build, it create a different image in the neighborhood. And sellers, with the land prices increase over the years, it's going to make it more and more difficult for locals to buy. Thus, people like us coming from the diasporas are going to be those who can probably afford to purchase homes in those areas. But that also depends. Not all of us make the same amount of money here in the West. Some of us make way more. Some of us don't make enough, right? But we struggle with whatever it is that we make, but then we'll take it back to Africa, and guess what happens? Then, we're get whatever we can get, just because you want a symbol that proves that, okay, I used to live here, I grew up here, now I'm back, I'm doing my thing, and I want to make sure that my land is there, so when I visit, I have a place to stay. But I can't just not be limited there. We have to understand that the more land we buy, the more power we acquire. But if you are hesitant to buying properties because you can't trust anybody while you overseas, wait, why can't you just fly there yourself and purchase one? It seems pretty simple to me, right? Oh, what else again? Hey man, do me a favor, hit the like button. It's multiple people in the chat, but there's only 2 people who have liked so far. Please do me a favor, hit the like button. Hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm. I can't say that much. Thank you enough. Thank you very much. So, and for those of us who understand the true value of land, we are continuing to buy land. That's why currently, and that's not the end of it, I currently own 2 residential properties and a 15-acre farmland that I'm working on. I am building an apartment in one of my residential properties located in Kinkole because I am in the middle of preparing a trip to Congo in July of this year, because before then there will be more activities, happening on the farm, and go and stay at someone else's place, because I already said to myself, the next time I'm going to Congo, I won't be spending money on rent anymore. That's why I built my own. It's almost over, but I am going to share that with you when the project is all complete. I wanted to keep that on the low. Even some of my family members, my siblings, don't even know that one is taking place. It's pretty much complete. We're literally about to move on to finish this phase. That's where we are, right? And that's not it. When I go home and I'll get my friend who's an architect, he'll draw a plan, a plan for me based on what I think I want to build there in terms of apartment complexes and stuff. That's exactly what I'm going to do. So when I'm here, people can move in, I can rent it out and see how much money I'll be making monthly from that one place. And then I'll see if I come up with a lot more, enough more money moving forward, I am going to build and in the other property. And once that one is done, let's just say both residential properties is bringing me near $2,000 a month worth of rent. Guys, do you know how important and how significant that is in Congo? Dude, I wouldn't even have to work as much as I am today. And I keep saying this to people, and I keep telling people, I'm here working. I love my job. I'm making a decent amount of money, but I don't want to retire. I don't want to wait till retirement age. That's why I'm working as hard as I possibly can to build as much as I possibly can build in Africa. So when I reach a certain extent where I feel that, okay, now I'm confident with what I'm making monthly here, with the farm being run and being successful and everything. And I'm like, okay, cool. Now I can pack my stuff. I'm moving back to Congo. I keep saying this, and it may seem like a joke to some of y'all, but every year I'm getting closer and closer to reaching my objectives. So as long as you stay subscribed to the channel and keep those alerts turned on, it will come a day where you will witness that as well. Well, hopefully God protect us and keep all of us alive to see when these things are unfolding. Keep in mind, with the geopolitics instability happening currently in the world, there is no guarantee that the US empire will continue to persist. There's no guarantee that Europeans or the West combined will continue to be the dominant power. There are chances that the BRICS alliance and other emerging power will take over. Probably the US dollar will not collapse. It's not gonna happen overnight, but we are moving towards a path where there will be multiple ways to transact monetarily. It will not only have to be the US dollar, because it's been the world reserve currency for the past, what, 70 years now, I think. And that's very important for us Africans to understand, that we need to buy lands. We need to buy lands, build within those lands, whether it is for our own personal residential purposes, or whether it is for business purposes, or you want to get into real estate or whatnot. Because what's going to happen is, you build your properties, or you buy these lands, you have kids, you have grandkids. As you grow older, they will have a place to stay. They will have a place that they'll be proud of, that when they grow up, they don't have to work so hard to buy these lands, because they already have one that they own, that were purchased before even they were born. It's kind of like the same thing. When I was born, my parents weren't renting anymore. They already, when I came into being, they already owned multiple properties in multiple towns across the city, right? And up until today, just because I personally choose not to live in one of my parents' places when I move back, or when I'm visiting in Kinshasa, I prefer to get my own spot, because I may have friends and other acquaintances come through to visit me. I don't want to take them over to my parents' house like that, or certain behind closed doors conversations happening between me and friends cannot be had in front of my moms or my family members like that, right? Because I have certain things that I want privacy for. That's why I was doing that. But because I've traveled multiple times in the past 3 years in Congo, and I realized that, man, the amount of money that I have spent on rent, if I can build something in the one that back then, I still only owned one property so far, but now I got two, and I'm already building one in one of them, and it actually is already making me feel good. And that's exactly what I am going to do, moving forward. So I am asking you guys to consider this, okay? You buy land, you're expecting your children, your great-grandchildren, your great-grandchildren to live in there, right? Or to do something with it. Whatever it is, maybe in the long run, when you're not around, the world will change, when there will be other business opportunities. With them already owning land, it's just going to make the process much easier for them. It's kind of like the same thing. It reminds me when growing up with my parents, where my dad owned the home. It's in a more commercial, it's like in a business district. Let's put it that way. And my older siblings, whenever they wanted to make money, they didn't even have to go rent out anywhere. They could just lay things right in front of the house, and they're making money, tax free. You can also facilitate for other generations as well. You see how that feels? Because like what I'm going through right now, right? It's because I wanted it to be that way. But if I really wanted to invest, I would have invested a hell of a lot more than I have done far on my farm. If I had chosen to just utilize my father's farmland that he left for us when he passed. We own 138 acres. But the reason I didn't want to do that, we know African family drama, right? When it comes down to owning business and stuff, because it's owned by my dad and I have siblings, right? Because he he belongs to all of us now. If I was making investments in there, now people will wake up, I want to go. They want to go in there. They also want to do things, considering that it was it was our dad's, right? I was smart about it. I'm like, I'm going to buy my own land. I'm going to build within my own land. And then when somebody turns around and want to claim something, I'll be like, okay, show me where you give at least $10 to buy this property. That I have a say in it. But in my dad's, not so much. You understand what I'm saying? So guys, that was my personal choice. And I think it was a great choice that I made. If some of you are on the same shoes where you have lands that your parents, left behind, and now kids are pretty much running it. If you're in a place where you're in a position where you want to build or you want to do something significant with it, please stay away from that. Don't do that. You will spend money, but then you will be the last person to enjoy it, because the fact that you live abroad and they live there, they have number one advantage over you, and number two, you're just going to lose your investment. Your investment they would then become everybody's properties. It doesn't matter if you're the only one that spends money on it, but because it's owned by your parents, it means anything you build in it, it's pretty much their properties too, their belongings. You understand what I'm saying? So these are very, very important points, important things that we need to consider. We should all consider buying properties, buying land. Okay, so with the money that I'm making now, I could buy another land, but I'm like, no, I already own two so far. Let me build something and see how far I can get, and then later on I'll acquire another one. But the longer you wait, the more difficult it will be for you to buy in neighborhoods where your home value would dramatically increase. Not that in the areas where they're still selling cheap, it won't, but it will still take time. But it's time for you to jump in as soon as possible. So within the next 5 or 10 years, you've already built enough equity that will make it possible. So if let's just say you want to sell it, right, to buy somewhere else and build or whatever your intentions are, you already have an advantage. So generational wealth is very important, but all of these materialistic things that represent anything but depreciate in value are not going to get us where we need to be at in life. You see what I'm saying? So we really need to be smart about how we are investing and how we using our money. Nothing can go wrong with buying a piece of property, a piece of land. Buying a piece of land, do something with it, build something, because the value will continue to increase. I talked to you guys about this already. When I bought my farmland, it cost like $600 per hectare. Now it's over $1,000 per hectare in that same area where I still own. So now you have to think, okay? Now you have to, ask yourself, if I wait 2 or 5 years from now to buy my first farmland, you will probably be looking at $2,000 per hectare. And before you know it, you probably won't be selling in hectares anymore. Spoiler alert, in the area where I own my farm, they actually already started doing that. Like buying hectares are slowly fading away. Now, if you're going to buy, they're literally selling you the normal size, whether 20 by 20, 20 by 30, 20 by 15, whatever. Now they're chopping everything up, which means the place is gaining momentum. There are multiple people there. There's this, a construction company or in this industry that are building residential properties there in a mass scale, hotels, roads, and other infrastructures, which is going to bring value in that area. Someone like me who own as much land as I do, it's going to be in my benefits if I'm considering even later on to sell my properties, which I won't do because I want to be able to farm and take advantage of my land as much as possible, because my objective is to reach a commercial scale in terms of animal raising, where I am one of the providers of animals locally. That's my objective. I know it's going to be a long and difficult road to be involved in, but I know with God I will reach that objective, and I trust myself and how determined I am. I will get there eventually. So the question is, will you consider doing the exact same thing, whether it is in farming, agriculture, animal raising, whatever it is you're trying to do, real estate, whatever, you go ahead and do it, because that's only going to create generational wealth for your grandfather, for your grandchildren, your great grandchildren, and so forth. Because at the end of the day, life is becoming more and more unaffordable in the West. So that's why people are finding other alternatives. People now are looking to work remotely, looking to find jobs that allows them to work from home, to only work online. So they have freedom of movement. They can move to any part of the world they want to go to. If they want to live in Africa while still working and getting paid in US dollar, they have the option to do that. Or whatever part of the world you're from. People are looking into doing those more now than ever before. Why? Because of the unexplainable high cost of living here in the West, combined with inflation and many other things. All right. You see what I'm saying? So you guys, pick a side, man. See what your priorities are. Whatever it is, just be smart about it. You understand what I'm saying? We could all talk about this and talk about investing in Africa, buying properties and doing business or whatnot. But at the end of the day, if you just keep talking about it and without taking any action, I hate to say this, brother, you're full of shit. I'm sorry, excuse my French, but I used to be that guy too. You know how much time I procrastinated until I bought my first farmland. I procrastinated a lot. And I'm also going to be talking to you about the possibility of acquiring a new piece of farmland in another area. It's called Njil Brasserie. So me being from Massena, where I grew up, right? But I was born in Matete, but I grew up in Massena. But in Njili, there is this area where there are like a multiple natural construction materials that comes from the earth there. It's a misery. I mean, it's a mystery. People buying properties, farmlands there, and it's one of the most fertile soil you could possibly plant anything there. I'm considering that too. And guess what? It's near Njili River. That even makes it much more accessible to water than it will be and where I own my farm now. I'm actually already got one of my friends and my siblings involved in finding out what the prices are looking like now, because I want to buy there too. All right, but that's still in process. But I'll probably won't purchase until everything is up and running in my farm and all of that stuff. Guys, I told you the building is already complete. I still got to upload a video because it's been a very hectic week. I wasn't able to sit in front of the computer to edit the one video showing you how the completion happened. The only thing left before I move the pigs in is plumbing work. They got to do plumbing work, which will resume this week, and by the following week we'll be going to different piggeries to buy pigs to bring them back to the farm. That's where I stand right now currently. All right, guys, so I figured I'll come here, talk to you about this. I've been thinking about this stuff, and I've been thinking about ways to get my people involved and engaged in the same process that I'm in, because I believe this preserves generational wealth. And if you feel any differently, please don't hesitate to let me know in the comment section down below. I'm very, very, very open to hearing your opinions and what you have to say about that. Happy Saturday. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. I'll see you next time. Please keep those alerts turned on from when I release the next video. You get it, so you guys see where I am with the tiny house building on the farm. All right, guys. Stay safe. Happy Saturday. I'll see you next time. Peace out.